Hey everyone, welcome to Retaliatory Strike. Today we are doing some Brawlmachine games between myself playing Circle and Bob playing Khador. Hey everyone, I'm Ryan. Today I'm running Kromac 1 and Bones of Oribos. So I have Kromac with Ghetorix, a Woldwatcher, a Woldwyrd, and a Druid Wilder. For solos, I have the Gallows Grove, and for units, I have Shifting Stones and the Stoneward and Woldstalkers. So the idea behind this list is mostly I wanted to kind of showcase, because I think Kromac's going to be a bit of a monster in this thing, because if their caster ends within 13 inches of him, he can walk and jump, and he's mat 8, POW plus strength 14 with 14 fury that he can have access to, so can murder stuff really good himself. I put the Woldwyrd in there to help discourage upkeeps and to proc Road to Wars. The Gallows Grove is in there mostly because it's a cheap solo for scoring flags, and I have the Shifting Stones and Stoneward and Woldstalkers in there because those are the only units that I can actually bring in this theme. So other than that, I want Ghetorix as my front line to kill stuff for the most part, and the Woldwatchers to be way up in front and take an alpha on the chin for me, so then it's not Ghetorix getting alpha'd or Kromac getting hit.
Hi everyone, I'm Bob, and I'm running Karchev the Terrible in Jaws of the Wolf. So Karchev is bringing a Decimator, because it has a good gun for proccing Road to War, and sustained attack on the Ripsaw can be pretty critical. We have the Devastator, because Clamjacks are really hard to kill when they're armor 24. And Bulldoze can be relevant. We got the Juggernaut, because it's always a good beat stick. And the War Dog, so that Karchev can have a whopping defense 14 versus melee attacks to make him slightly harder to hit. We have a Gobber Tinker for potential repairs, and also just to be his flag scoring solo. Yuri the Axe to see through forests and threaten stuff. Battle Mechanics to keep Karchev repaired, and sometimes Jacks. Kayazy Eliminators are always good contesting pieces. And I'm hoping that Karchev and his bulky battle group can bully the table a bit. I do know I might struggle on scenario because it is kind of slow if I can't get Road to Wars off. And Karchev's really hard to assassinate, which is relevant. And that's my list.
Game 1 deployment. So I won the roll-off and chose to go first. Bob picks side. For terrain on the board, in the bottom left we have rubble right next to the flag. Bottom right we have a wall right by the other flag. Just above that is a cloud, a forest in the middle of the zone there. Rubble template up just at the top of the zone. Top left we have another wall, and top right we have a house. For my deployment, I put Kromac right in the middle. He starts with his upkeeps out, so Ghetorix has Inviolable Resolve and Warpath on Kromac. I put the Woldstalkers at the bottom to go and contest his bottom flag, and then I have Ghetorix and the Woldwyrd up in the middle with Kromac to be reactive to how he moves.
So yeah, I basically put Karchev up the middle, flanked by all his Jacks. The Decimator on top, because I think it has better fields of fire over there. The Gobber across from that flag to get to, and the Gals on the bottom so they can go try to contest your flag later.
For my advanced deployment, I put the Gallows Grove up top to go after that top flag, and then the Woldwatcher and Stone at the bottom to go and contest your bottom flag.
And I have Yuri up the middle.
Perfect. Circle, turn 1. So for the most part, everything's just gonna run. So I teleport 8 inches up with the stones for my Woldwatcher because it's faster than his walking 5, and then I walked him 5 and stone formed. This was a mistake and I ended up fixing it later. I run the Woldwyrd up the bottom there. I teleport the Gallows Grove up, and he's just out of 5 of the flag, so I can't have him on the flag for next turn. And there's me catching that he couldn't walk, and then I just finish running up my Woldstalkers. I run up the Wilder for that flag and run up Ghetorix.
Khador, turn 1. Okay, so everything's going to power up, obviously. I look at where I can go. I decided to run this guy 8 inches up, but I double checked with Ryan about Ghetorix's threat range, because I want to stay outside of what he can get to without Road to War. With Road to War he can reach me, without not so much, so I'm okay with that. I run up my Devastator and my Juggernaut, put them base to base to form a barrier so that Karchev can Arcantric Turbine, walk 6 inches, and put up Road to War, and not for him getting shot off the table-ish by a Woldwyrd. Because they won't kill me, but with additional die, boost and damage, you can do a lot of work to Karchev. I've seen it done. I run some Machaniks up behind everything. I run the dog up. I run the Eliminators up. I'm trying to keep everything back behind the Cloud and the Jax to not give him Road to War targets.
Circle, turn 2. So I leech in all the Fury. I pay to upkeep Inviolable Resolve, and I get a free upkeep for Warpath from the Wilder. There, I just checked Ghetorix's threat range, and I do need the Warpath to get him into anything, so I move up the Woldstalkers, and I'm taking shots at the Tinker. I need 12s to hit, but you can't hit if you don't try. So I go through and I'm shooting, and I do end up missing all of them, so I Zephyr with them and get them out of the back up a little bit. Get out of the way. I then move up my Woldwatcher, take a shot at the Tinker. I boost. I need a 13 and I rolled a 12. So then he just stone formed up there. And then I go up with the Woldwyrd and take a shot. I need a 12 and I hit it. I think I hit a 13 on that one. And then I boost damage and kill him. So I Warpath Ghetorix up to where he can reach. And I check the control area. I Strange Growth up the Gallows Grove, not quite on that flag, about a ½ inch out, which works out math-wise for going first. I charge with Ghetorix, and I warp Murderous this turn, and I kill Yuri the Axe, and I Warpath the Woldwyrd back to a little bit more safety, and then I start buying attacks into the Devastator. I do pretty good damage, and then I buy my last attack and I get 7 points of damage in, and then I realized that I wanted to Spiny Growth, and Bob was kind enough to let me time walk the damage back and have that be Spiny Growth instead, just because I messed up. From there, Kromac moves up to where even with Road to War, the Jax can't get to him, and he puts up Bestial and drops the other 3. The Wilder goes and scores that flag, and then the shifting stones shift up to be Serenity.
Khador, turn 2. So, we get our power-ups out. I'm looking at my options. I've got the 2 hardest targets in front of me, so I can see a feat turn. I got the Walled White with Stone Form up, and I got Ghetorix, something I want all that damage, so it's going to be a feat turn. I'm just trying to him and haw if I want Karchev to go try to put his axe into Ghetorix, or if I want to let the Decimator do it. I wind up deciding to let the Decimator do it, so I load up the Juggernaut and the Decimator so they can both go hit their hard targets. Checking the Decimator's damage grid to see if it won't break itself because of Spiny Growth, so it should be okay. Spiny Growth shouldn't cripple it mid-attack. Then I start looking at where Karchev wants to go, thinking about where to line up some sprays. I decide line up the spray onto Ghetorix will be more worthwhile, because then I don't need to worry about hitting him. The sustained attack on the Decimator means I don't need to hit him the first time anyway, and then just auto hit. But like, if I can knock him down first, that's a plus.
Relevantly, you dropped Road to War?
Yes, I dropped Road to War because if that Woldwyrd starts shooting me up, it's going to be a bad time. So I dropped Road to War so it can't shoot me up as bad. Then I walk up and do my spray, and unboosted hit a 9 to knock down Ghetorix. So that was a big deal, because I needed to camp as much as possible, because Kromac's assassination threat is ridiculous. Then the Decimator starts powering its attacks into Ghetorix, does some damage, it heals some, does some damage, it heals some, that whole shenanigan. Despite being on feet turn, it's not going to just power through him. It does a lot of damage, but leaves him alive, and those wind up being, it beats him up pretty good. But
I keep rolling column for my rapid healing when I don't need to.
Yeah.
That's why you see me rolling so many dice.
Yeah, goof. So yeah, charge the Juggernaut into the
Watcher.
Watcher. Start smashing him up. And I do wind up killing him with camping 1 focus. So I'll relocate a little bit there, but that's okay. Then I run my dog to where it'll give me the defense and melee benefit. Versus melee, I mean. The Kayazy, 1 runs and 1 charges to get on Ghetorix. It winds up doing like 3 points of damage, and then you heal 3, and it sidesteps into the zone. And then I just look at where I want to run my mechanics. Oh, I haven't moved my dog yet. And the Devastator just runs up to be in the zone, putting pressure on, be able to reach up next turn. And then I just run the dog and the mechanics up. And that is my turn. So it's not too bad.
Circle, turn 3. So I pull in all of my Fury and I end up dropping Inviolable Resolve off of Ghetorix, and I had paid for it by accident. So I'm playing down 1 Fury this turn. It wouldn't have changed anything really. From there, I am just looking at my options here. I'm wondering if I can clear out the Juggernaut and the Mechanic and get a solo onto that flag. I can just score 3 and win, but I can't quite get anything there, so I'm looking, and Ghetorix with a Warpath can get to Karchev, and I'm thinking of putting up Wild Aggression on him from the Gallows Grove there because it is an arc node. And then I decide I need to just start getting models moving, so I am doing Concentrated Fire with the Woldstalkers and shooting at the Juggernaut, so they get more powerful as they shoot. And I crank about 7 damage, 8 damage into him from that unit, which is not half bad for a 10-point unit. After that, I am looking here, and I'm trying to decide what exactly to do. I healed Ghetorix because I had forgot to do the theme benefit, and then I move up the Gallows Grove onto the flag so I can score there. So now I'm scoring 2 this turn. I'm guaranteed going 3-0 this turn, which is good. From there, I move Kromac back a little bit. I put up Bestial and Wild Aggression just so then his Jack can't see him to charge him at least. And then I go with Kromac or Ghetorix, and I Warp for strength. I use my bite and eat the Eliminator, and then I get to Warpath in, and I am in combat with Karchev, and then I start hitting. It's dice off 2, and he's camping 2, and I get some damage in. He hit with the 2. It's not as much as I would have liked, but I don't end up putting up spiny growth or anything like that. I just kind of went for it to really try to beat him up for maybe next turn. Kromac can go in and kill him, hopefully. From there, I realized that I should have gone with my Woldwyrd first to shoot at Karchev, but instead I shoot the Juggernaut. I'm boosting damage when I can, and it's dice off 8, so with my last shot, I shoot a Mechanic and Warpath the Woldwyrd out of the zone, and then I shifting stones my shifting stones up.
Khador, turn 3. So Ryan's got 3 points to my 0, so I know I have to play scenario as hard as I can this turn. So look at what I gotta do. Mechanics can't reach Karchev and the Juggernaut and stay in command doing it, so they have to pick one or the other. So I decided I'm gonna go with Karchev and fix him up so he's not so assassinatable. Then I look at what I gotta do. I'm gonna check and see if the Decimator can reach the dog can reach a flag. So yes, I know I can score that. The Decimator can walk and reach the tree because he got on the close side of it. So that was very obliging of you, Ryan. And so I give 1 focus to the Decimators to make sure, give 1 extra attack, confirm the kill on that there tree. Karchev gets healed up by Mechanics a little bit. The Juggernaut walks up to kill a Shifting Stone and a what are those guys called?
Woldstalker.
Woldstalker. So he punches them, kills them. The dog runs the flag, so no one can score that. Karchev walks up to start slapping around Ghetorix. It burns through a lot of Karchev's focus killing Ghetorix. He's even without Inviolable Resolve up and without Spiny Growth up, he's still kind of hard to hit, and the rapid healing keeps him in the game a little bit, so I burn through a decent amount of focus trying to kill him. I finally do, though. I'm left on 2 or 3? 2. I think it might be 3 there, but anyway. I walk up the Decimator, hit a tree, don't kill it, hit it again, so I'm really glad I gave him the extra focus. Then I walk up the Devastator and start punching some more rocks. So I punch some more Sentry Stones, kill them. So now the Decimator is unclammed, so he's armor 19, but it was worth it because it cleared the zone, so I can score the circle zone because casters don't contest. And I run the Kayazy Eliminator, contest his flag. So I score 2 points.
Circle, turn 4. So, pretty rough right now. I don't have a lot of tools left to fight all the armor on the table. So I get to upkeep Warpath for free from the Wilder. And then from there, I'm trying to decide what I can even do. So I end up going with the Woldstalkers here. They move up, and I'm going to try to shoot the War Dog off the flag. The first one shoots and connects and kills him, and he doesn't tough. And the one in the cloud takes a shot at a mechanic and misses, and then I Zephyr them 3 inches, and then I realize that my guys are now in range of mechanics, so they shoot, miss, shoot, hit, and kill. And then I just fix the facing on my guy because he didn't want to be facing no one. And then I am looking here for Warpath. I move up the Woldwyrd so he can aim and shoot at Karchev, and then the Wilder goes and tries to kill an Eliminator, doesn't roll a 12, so it's alright. My Woldwyrd starts shooting, and I'm boosting the damage in. It's dice off 7. I chip a couple points in, not much. And then with my... Oh yeah, I did all 3 into him and got 4 points of damage into him. I'm looking to see if there's a way for me to get Kromac to that Decimator somehow and then be able to get on that flag. Instead, I decide to charge the Eliminator. I boost to hit, miss, boost to hit, I hit, and I boost damage because she has boxes and kill her really good. I put up Inviolable Resolve on himself.
Khador, turn 4. Okay, so we re-up on our focus, which is great. Karchev wants to keep it all for himself because he's going to do cool stuff and then try not to get assassinated, as per. I'm looking to see if I can want a cool spray up over lots of people. I can, except for the fact that I then walk within 2 of them, so I've engaged a guy with my axe, and now I can't do my spray. So, like, you know what? We're going to look at doing a trample. So I'm going to walk some mechanics up to repair Karchev in a minute, once I figure that out. So I work out where I gotta walk him. Now, the bottom mechanic will be in the trample lane, so he's gonna take an attack roll, but I fix Karchev up a little bit, why not? Now I Arcantric Turbine Karchev to give him more movement. I trample over, I repay that mechanic for his repairs by squishing him underfoot, and I also squish the other Woldstalker. Now I'm looking to see if Eruption, Ground Zero is the right call, and it's not, because it only clips 1 guy, so that's disappointing. It's hard to use that spell. I use Eruption on the Woldstalker because they're all bunched up nicely, so 3-inch AoE will cover them all. I hard roll it and land it, and that AoE clips everyone with a POW 14 fire damage roll that leaves a cloud hazard in play, which is cool. And then Karchev's there, camping a little bit of focus, feeling pretty good. Now the Devastator charges the Woldwyrd and then bulldozes him out of the zone and then punches at him a little bit so his clam is down, but that's okay because we got you out of the zone, so I'll be able to score it with my 1 lone mechanic in there, and that's a big deal for me. And then I charge in the Juggernaut and I boost a hit on Kromac, and I do a bunch of damage to him, leave him on 4 boxes.
You walked in.
I walked in, sorry.
And then you fisted the Wilder.
Yeah, fist the Wilder.
Circle, turn 5. So, not a whole lot left for me to do here, so I pull in, and I'm on 6 because I only got 2 from the Wilder, or from the Woldwyrd, and 2 from my Spirit Bond, so he's on 6. And I'm looking here, and I can just walk and get within 7 after the jump without taking a free strike. So I'm hitting and I'm boosting damage into him. And even with his fading, I'm doing pretty good here. A couple of my damage rolls blow up pretty good. So I'm just going there. And then I feat, and because I only have 4 life, I can only get 3 fury back, so I go for it anyways here. And I chip a couple more points in. I think if I could have had 7 and then breed up for another 7, it would have been closer for an assassination. And then the Woldwyrd just shoots at the Juggernaut, and I end, and he scores 1.
Khador, turn 5. Well, Karchev is going to fill up his focus again, and Kromac's in front of him on 1 life point and no transfers. So he's going to look at him funny and then boost a hit with his axe, and it's going to connect and kill Kromac. And that will be our game. But it was a tight game.
So Khador wins game 1 of Brawlmachine.
Yes.
Yes. Game 2 deployment. So I lost last game and I chose to go first again. Bob chose the other side for some variety. Terrain's all the same. For my deployment, I put Kromac right up in the middle again with Ghetorix and the Woldwyrd. The Stalkers going down the bottom there to go and fight for those flags. And then the Wilder is just below the Woldwyrd there to go and capture that flag this turn. And that's the rest is advanced deploy.
Mine's pretty similar too. Karchev in the middle, Decimator on the top where he has better sight lines. The Gobber Tinker goes towards the top area because he's going to go to the wall and then be in a position to go to the flag later, maybe. The Kayazy Eliminators are going the middle-ish towards the bottom, kinda, to try to contest flags, fight stuff. Pretty straightforward. We're going to go in the middle and have a fight.
For my advanced deploy, I'm putting the Woldwatcher kind of right up in the middle there. And then I'm measuring out, and if I do my strange growth twice directly towards the flag, the Gallows Grove can't quite get on it, so I put it in the shifting stones so I can shift it 8 inches and then be able to get in there for the next one. And then Yuri's put right in the middle for him. Circle, turn 1. So, turn of running. So I do my 8-inch place from the shifting stones with the Grove, and then I do the 5-inch teleport, making sure that he can get onto the flag next turn. After that, I make sure that I'm not in Yuri's threat range and run the Woldwatcher and the Woldwyrd up into the cloud there. I run Ghetorix and all the Woldstalkers. I move the Druid Wilder to get the flag, and then just drop Fury and run Kromac.
Khador, turn 1. Okay, so I'm on the other side of the table now, so that's fun. And so I just run my Tinker behind the wall, so he's in range to run and get on the flag if that becomes an option. Run my Devastator up like you do, run my Juggernaut up, and their facings look a little dumb because I'm trying to get them to base to be that just line of sight blocking wall of Jack for Karchev, so we can get a spell up with hopefully without being shot by that Woldwyrd, because that Woldwyrd is oppressive. Because getting the additional die to hit and damage on anything with a spell on it is nuts. So yeah, so I do that. Then I had Arcantic Turbine obviously to get there. I run my Decimator up.
And you put up Battle Charge.
Yes, Battle Charge is up, looking for that counter charge shenanigans. Run my everyone up. The Machaniks sit just behind everyone. Pretty standard turn 1.
Circle, turn 2. So I leech in all my Fury. I pay for my upkeep, so I'm on 6 Fury this turn. From here, the first thing I check is to see if I can get the Woldwyrd within shooting range of Karchev and staying out of countercharge range, which I find a spot where I can. So I walk up with my Woldwyrd and I start cranking shots into Karchev and blowing up the damage real good. He's fading them each time, and I hit all 3 attacks.
You do a significant amount of damage.
I think after fading, I've done 12 total, so it would have been another 15 on top of that, so 27 points of damage if he didn't have any focus. But he did, so it was good for me. And then I run with the Woldstalkers, and they go and engage the 2 jacks, so I don't have to worry about countercharge. And then I'm trying to get them jammed up in front of the Woldwyrd, so that it's harder to get a jack to him. I move the Gallows Grove onto the flag, and here I am trying to see if I can get my Woldwatcher to where he can shoot at the guard dog. Or war dog, and I can, but then it counters. He does counter charge, so he charges me, he hits, does some damage, and then he stays out of a half inch, so I can't even hit him with my melee, so I just put up a stone for him. And I was wanting the warpath to get Ghetorix into this jack, but now he's counter charged to where Ghetorix can get to the jack. So I put up Spiny Growth so I don't forget this time right away, and then I charge in and warp strength, and a bunch of my attacks go a little bit wimpy where I'm doing 3 points of damage. I'll crank the to hit with like a 10 or 12 and then do 4 or 5 points of damage, which was unfortunate. And then here I'm looking to see if Kromac can get to him, because he, as not Beast Form, he's still 2-inch reach, and he can, so I end up charging in. So I'm going through and I'm doing decent damage to him here. I'm buying it, I'm boosting because it's dice off 9, which is a little mopey for trying to kill a jack. But I get there and I'm thinking of putting up Bestial for 3, but his Cortex and his right arm, so the Ripsaw, are still up. So I decide this is going to be my feet turn, and I'm going to go for killing him. So in hindsight, I should have put up Bestial, then feeded, got 7 Fury, and then killed the jack. Instead, I buy some attacks and boost damage, and then I go beast mode and kill him with the first attack, boosting damage. And then I'm camping 5 Fury, which I end up dropping 4 of it, so it was not the best way to play it. I'm checking to see if I can get Ghetorix out of threat range, and I can't, so I just block line of sight to Kromac, and that's my turn.
Khador, turn 2. Okay, so we've got some stuff to do. Let's see. First of all, I'm like, man, those mechanics need to fix up Karchev. He's hurting. The dog's in his way, so that's going to have to move. I'll look at what else I can do. The Juggernaut can reach the Woldwyrd if I can get rid of a Woldstalker that's in the way, so I want that to happen. So I followed the Juggernaut so I can send him in. Then I'm looking at what else I gotta do. I do pay to upkeep Battle Charged, because I think if I can get on that Woldwyrd, it's not so hazardous to have an upkeep on myself anymore. So I do that. Then I'm looking at where Karchev needs to stand to get a spray out to try and clear that obnoxious Woldstalker. So I run the dog to get him out of the way so Machaniks can get in on Karchev. So Machaniks actually roll a lot of high rolls, so Machaniks repair a lot. They repair
11 of the 12 damage.
So he gets fixed up real good, which is good. This is why he wants those Machaniks keeping him company. So then he walks. He doesn't need to Arcantric Turbine because he doesn't even need to walk into the rough terrain. He just walks to the edge of the rough terrain and does this big Sunder spray thing and lines up over 3 models there. He only really cares the first one, so I boost a hit and kill the Woldstalker that's in the way. And then I just make the others on hard rolls. I don't hit the Woldwyrd. That's okay. I do wind up hard rolling and hitting the Stalker leader, who self-sacks and destroys the thing, but he gets knocked down still by the spray, so that's cool. The Devastator bumps the Woldstalker and bulldozes it back, so then he's in a nice little spot to punch at them. He misses one twice. He then purchases an attack, hits one. Then he does his Rain of Death to try and get rid of the last one. So the Rain of Death does reach Yuri and the Juggernaut and the Woldstalker. It doesn't kill the Woldstalker. It does 2 points of damage to Yuri and doesn't hurt the Juggernaut. So that was less than optimal for the Rain of Death. Well, then I charge the Juggernaut into the Woldwyrd. I boost chance to hit and crit stationary the Woldwyrd. I do a buttload of damage to it. I punch at the fist to do some more, and buy my last attack and leave it on one box. Effectively taking out the picture so it doesn't shoot Karchev to death, which was my main concern. Then I look at launching Yuri into the crowd. So Yuri goes into the woods, charging at Ghetorix, does some damage to Ghetorix, and does some damage to the Woldwatcher. And in the woods, Yuri has Tree Walker to be slightly higher defense, so hoping that helps him out. Then I'm looking at what the assassins can do, the Eliminators rather. So the Eliminators can charge in on Ghetorix and be another contesting piece on his flag to keep the scenario game from getting out of hand. They go in, the first one misses, the second one hits, does 2 points of damage, and then he heals 1, so that's kind of mopey. And she sidesteps a little deeper in. And then that's about it for turn.
Circle, turn 3. So looking at the board here, all I have to do is clear out 2 Eliminators, Yuri the Axe, and that Devastator, which is now armor 19, and I'll score 3 points to win because it's 1-0 right now. So I pull in all my Fury and I decide to go Beast Mode with Kromac, so I drop all my upkeeps. I end up leaving 1 Fury on the Woldwatcher. I probably should have left it on the Woldwyrd as it healed 1 point, but I end up not using them anyways. The Woldwatcher goes in and he hits him, but doesn't kill him, and then misses with a second attack. And then I walk over with Kromac and take a free strike from the Eliminator when I could have just jumped and placed instead of taking a bunch of damage. From there, I attack the Eliminator, I boost to hit, I hit, I attack the other Eliminator, boost to hit, and I hit and kill her, and then I buy an attack into Yuri. He toughs, and then I buy an attack and kill him, and put up Spiny Growth so he's a little bit harder to kill. And then I walk up with Ghetorix here, and I walked him into countercharge range of Karchev, so in a second there, yeah, he ends up going in. And we did the math on this, and Ghetorix should probably overkill the Devastator at 19 armor by about 5 boxes. But, so Karchev charges in and misses anyways, and then I'm buying attacks into there, and I'm rolling a lot of Snake Eyes for damage and a lot of 3s for damage. So I think after all my attacks, I went full out on it. He's about half health. So
You break both its arms.
I break both its arms, but I wanted to win the game, which isn't going to happen now. I don't have enough to actually remove the rest of them. So I decide to go with my Woldstalkers, who just tuck into those jacks, and this one shoots, and I roll boxcars for damage. So I do 4 more points of damage to it, so now he's super hurt. Would have been really nice to get that on Ghetorix, and then the next one shoots at the Juggernaut and rolls an 11 on damage, so it was quite frustrating at that point, and then I Zephyr the unit leader and shift the shifting stones up.
Khador, turn 3. Well, we got some models in my face, so we're going to fight them. I do not upkeep Battle Charge, because at this point I don't think I can get any more out of it. I don't allocate to the Devastator, because it's got broken arms, so it's going to plan on doing a Rain of Death. I do allocate to the Juggernaut, because I think I do anyway. Let's see. He just has to try to fight a Woldwyrd. And mostly it's going to be Karchev trying to kill Ghetorix. So, I do allocate some to the Juggernaut. At least one anyway. I walk up the Devastator base to base with Ghetorix for a power 18 Rain of Death on him. And it does some damage. And then I do the blast onto the Woldstalker, and that'll kill it. And then, in a second, and then I do a little bit on Karchev, and I think he's okay. So we're fine there. So Rain of Death did okay. I then have Karchev pop his feet, and walk up, and start punching Ghetorix. So he rolls lots of damage. Oh, I remember now I did the Devastator. Sorry, I boosted the attack roll with a punch onto the Wildstalker to kill it. The blast didn't get it. Yeah. Karchev goes and punches Ghetorix a whole bunch of times.
I think in this one you boosted to hit and missed.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then hard rolled the rest of them.
Yeah, hard rolled everything else. Apparently boosting the hits terrible, but hard rolling's easy. The Juggernaut starts swinging. Def 13 on that Woldwyrd. I missed them a bunch of times. But I do eventually land a hit, and we do kill it. And then I think I still have one more attack to do into the little guy and kill it. So that's going okay. I run the dog for scoring. I run the Machaniks to try to jam up on that stalker leader guy. And then I run the Gobber Tinker to contest your flag, because that's all I got left.
So I score 1 and you score 1, so it's 4-1. Circle, turn 4. So looking at this, all I need to do is score 2 points to his 1 to win on scenario. So the only thing stopping me from doing that is the Tinker, so I get all my fury back, I walk, jump behind him, boost to hit, boost damage, kill him, and score 6-2. Game 3 deployment. So, Bob lost last game, so he decided to try going first this game.
I'd mix it up a little bit. So we go do mostly the same deployment. Karchev basically in the middle, flanked by his jacks. I do put the Decimator on the bottom of the table this time, mostly for variety, to see how he plays over on this side of the table. They may all get him behind the wall. I don't know if it'll matter. Nothing too crazy. The Eliminators go more towards the middle top-ish. That's about it for me.
The Tinker on the bottom there.
Tinker on the bottom to go to the wall, and then the flag.
For me, I'm putting Kromac right in the middle. I really like him right in the middle to leverage the Bestial. I put Ghetorix at the bottom this time, and the Woldwyrd up at the top. And then I put all the Woldstalkers at the bottom. I was originally thinking putting them top, but then I thought Yuri might go up there, and they would be a bad matchup. And then it's into advanced deploy.
Yuri goes up the middle.
And then I put the Woldwatcher with the stones right in the middle so they can teleport him forward, and the Grove up at the top to go after that flag.
Khador, turn 1. First time I get to go first. So we're going to see how this goes, going first for a change. So we get our power-ups and our big stack of focus. And I'm thinking I was planning to put Yuri up the middle, but realizing between teleporting or even just walking forward, he can probably get in threat range if I parked him right up in the middle, so I decided to not do that. I make my wall of jacks and our Cantric Turbine and Karchev to put him up behind, and he puts up Road to War, so that's up on the board now. And I realized, actually, you don't really have to have that wall of jacks up. It's not like you can actually shoot me turn 1, but it doesn't change anything. Decimator and Tinker go up behind the wall. Troops run up. Eliminators run up the middle. Life is good.
Circle, turn 1. So, pretty standard turn, but first thing I check is if the Eliminators are within 13 of the Woldwatcher, and they are. So, 8-inch teleport, 5 inches for stealth, 13 inches. So I teleport him up, I boost to hit, I needed 10 to hit, and I just missed. And then he put up stone form. And then here I'm checking to see if there's any place where I can put my Gallows Grove to be able to get onto the flag and not be in Yuri's threat range, and he's just can't do it, so he just teleports up a little bit and stays out of threat range. And then I run up the Woldwyrd, staying out of threat range. I run Ghetorix, make sure that he stays out of Road to War threat ranges, and then move up the Woldstalkers, move the Druid Wilder to get that flag. I drop 4 Fury and then run Kromac up into the middle.
Khador, turn 2. Okay, so looking at what I can do. We get the power-ups, we look at our things, we upkeep Road to War. I look at my threat ranges. Decimator could shoot at Ghetorix or at the Woldstalkers. It can only minorly inconvenience Ghetorix, but killing Woldstalkers will trigger Road to War, so that's always good for me. So I do wind up giving him some focus, I look to see the Juggernaut, if it gets a road to work, can reach the Woldwatcher, the little guy. So I'm like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. So I'll load up the Juggernaut, and I give 1 to the Decimator so we can boost both its range attack rolls. We got something resembling a plan now, so that's good. The Decimator walks up, boost to hit the first Woldstalker. We do hit it, crush it, because it's a power 15 gun. Great. Then I road to war up the Juggernaut, so it's in range to hit the thing it wants to hit. Boost to hit another one into another Woldstalker, and I do. So great. I road to war the Clamjack. Cool, he's up there. Like, alright, now let's get the gals out of the way. I look to see I can't really charge Ghetorix, so I decide just to run 14 inches to contest that flag. So hopefully scoring doesn't get a hand, because scoring is definitely weakness on my list. Then I look, okay, let's charge in that there Juggernaut. We start punching on that Woldwatcher. We get boxcars on one of the Ice Axe attacks, but we flatten this Woldwatcher even through its stone form. Then I've killed that. I guess I could road to war the only thing I haven't yet, which is the Decimator. I don't really need to, but why not? It's fun. So we do it. Yuri runs to engage the Woldwyrd and the tree, because the tree's an arc node. Even though it can place, at least it has to move because it's engaged. And the Woldwyrd, hopefully that keeps it from shooting Karchev to death. We just run the Devastator up to engage Kromac and be annoying and be hard to kill because it's armor 24. And then I look also what I'll do. I decided to just run Karchev in. I could probably run him a lot less far than I did, but he's in the zone, whatever. He's camping a little bit. Run everyone else up. The dog's in range to give him the death buff.
Circle, turn 2. So I'm looking here, and I can definitely get Kromac onto Karchev. So I decide that I'm gonna go for the assassination run. The whole point of playing Kromac is to show his assassination potential. So he goes beast mode, and I go with the Woldstalkers. I'm trying to clear out some of the Eliminators here, and they end up missing all their shots, so then they just zephyr around, move up to contest if I end up surviving or not winning here. From here, I'm checking to see if Ghetorix can get to the Machaniks there with a walk, and I can't really, so I decided to go with the weird. It takes a free strike, and he takes my mind out, which is probably the best one for me. So I still get 2 dice to hit because of the upkeep. I hit, I'm boosting damage in, and I'm getting some damage in. It's not as spicy as last game. It would have been way better if I could have got 12 points of damage in. From here, I'm just looking to see how far up I can go to get in there. And I decide to go. I'm still trying to figure out, I think with the 2 overtakes, I can just get within 12. So I go with Kromac, and I'm I'm boosting damage into him, and I'm missing some attacks because the guard dog is putting him up to defense 14, so I'm needing 6s instead of 4s. So I miss a couple attacks. I'm boosting for any damage that I get in, and then I'm taking feeding, taking 7 points of damage and going back up to 7 and back to there. And on that attack, I crippled his movement, so now it's not Snake Eyes to hit, which is really good for me. And my damage kind of flubs here a little bit. Like, I ended up not doing any damage. I was rolling a lot of 7s on 3 dice. And now I'm going with Ghetorix. So I'm going to take a free strike from the Eliminator, which isn't the greatest, but it is what it is. So I go up, he cranks a bunch of damage into me, and with rapid healing, I'm not really worried about being crippled or anything, so I heal. I need 6s to hit or 5s to hit the Machaniks, so I hit, and then my 1-inch melee can't reach anything, so then I have to buy an attack into the other Machanic, which just gets me within 2 inches. He counter charges with the dog, and he missed with the free strike on the Devastator. The dog does some damage and then returns back to Karchev, and then I healed anyway, so I'm not crippled. I'm needing an 11 to just kill him outright, so I'm trying to decide if I want to boost. And I decide to boost, and I did 10, so I left him on 1 box, and then I need a 3 to kill, and I kill him with my last attack into him there. So it was a good game. Afterthoughts. So, first time ever trying Brawlmachine. I actually quite like the format. I do feel that 25 points is just like a hair too low. Like, I feel like you're cutting so much. It might be like the theme that I picked was why I'm thinking that, because Bones of Oribos is so restrictive on model choices that it's like I can bring one of everything pretty much, and that's it. So I feel that 25 points is a little bit low. I can see where they're going for to get new people in and stuff.
Yeah, it's faster to demo at 25 points, I think. And I mean, you can't bring everything then. Like, you can't bring all your support stuff. You basically can bring like a unit, probably, maybe 2, probably a unit, a couple solos, minimal battle group. So you're bringing a good variety, but you can't overdo it.
Yeah, and then like I think maybe the sideboard should be almost 20 to 25 points for the sideboard, because for like it's big part of it is the theme that I picked. It was like the only thing that I could really change out was maybe a Woldwyrd, but other than that, like I couldn't bring Sentry Stones, and then my other 2 units that I could bring I already brought, so I can't put them in the sideboard. And like solos, I guess I could throw in like a Stone Shaper. It was just weird for like the way my points were working out for it though.
So I was too dumb to figure out the sideboard stuff right away. But once I did understand how it works, like I'm going to plan on building in different mercenary options and maybe a couple different solos. And I think it'll be interesting later next time we do it. We'll have a better handle on how the sideboard works.
Yeah. So I really wanted to showcase Kromac being maybe an issue for this game mode with like, because he has walk 6, jump 5, 2-inch reach, a 13-inch threat range of if your caster's in there, I can probably get to them and kill them. And if I go into a different theme with a Wild Argus, then I can Doppler Bark, and then their defense 5 for it. So,
and even without, you'll be mat 8,
yeah,
and like 14, 16 attacks. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah, it didn't get to be showcased probably as good as it could be going into Karchev.
Yeah, he's a hard guy to assassinate.
But I think even like, I'm really happy with how the last game turned out, where I did get the assassination, because it did really showcase, like, if him alone can practically kill Karchev,
that's a big deal. Yeah.
Then he can probably kill almost any other caster.
So there's concerns about Karchev, right, being too hard to assassinate. The flip side of course, is Karchev doesn't really launch across the table himself, so he's able to counterpunch a bit. But Karchev doesn't assassinate you unless you come to him. Whereas Kromac will go to you and he will kill you if you aren't Karchev.
Yeah, for sure. So I think playing like maybe in the Wild Hunt might be a good is what I'm gonna try next, just to see how that feels with the Doppler Bark. So then, like, if I want to, like, in game 2 there, when I had to kill 2 Eliminators and Yuri the Axe, if I could have just Doppler Barked and then it's not Snake Eyes to hit all of them, I'm probably going to clear them out way easier than I needed. Other than that, I think it's a really fun format, and I really enjoyed the best of 3.
Yes.
Like, it was really cool to be like, okay, I could have played this better and then tried playing it better immediately instead of waiting a week.
And I like the idea of the sideboard too, so if you do get gimped in a game, you go, maybe try a different unit option, maybe you can switch it around a little bit, see how that feels. Like, I do like that best of 3 format. It is cool.
Yeah, I think going in a different theme will give me a little bit more options to pick from for my sideboard. It was just, I was kind of locked in with the models that I could bring being FA1 on everything. And then like lots of the requisition points are to get multiples of one thing, so yeah, it's, other than that, it is different. I felt like the scenario was live, but it wasn't so live that a slow list like yours couldn't come back on scenario like that game 1 where
So my list struggled to get into the scenario game, but like if it was 3-up-1 like it used to be, I guess, 3-up winning you would have just won right away.
yeah.
Whereas I was able to just get into and to start contesting stuff so I could not immediately lose on scenario.
Yeah, I think I would have won top of 3 if it was 3-up on game 1, and I would have won like bottom of 2 on game 2, and then no scoring on.
So I knew Karchev and his battle group were going to struggle with scenario, but I was hoping like again once they get there, they can be hard enough to remove that I don't just lose on it.
It was really interesting too because with how tough your battle group it wasn't. I couldn't really peace trade with because I had like Ghetorix as a premium beast as my only really hard hitter, and then not having a whole lot of stuff to fight your budget heavies effectively.
I didn't bring too many budget heavies though, did I?
Well, the Juggernaut,
Yeah. The 14 points
Oh, yeah,
for the
I guess.
Devastator and 15 for the Decimator.
But well, yeah, you brought way more heavies than me,
Yeah,
so
more heavies, though.
so I think unless I could really peace trade, I couldn't win on attrition in these games for sure. So I definitely had to push for assassination or scenario play, which I ended up doing.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good for you.
Yeah. So other than that, if you have any last parting thoughts?
Nope, that was super fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I do recommend trying it out. It is a little bit different, that's for sure. Other than that, thanks for watching Retaliatory Strike.